Source Baseball Podcast. My name is David A. Arnott, sitting here with George Winkler, and today we're talking about trade rumors. Everyone loves the hot stove, but for fantasy managers, with the trade deadline approaching July 31st, you need to keep close watch on what happens, and even the rumors, so that you might even be able to get a little bit ahead of the curve on some of these moves.
Absolutely, because once the trades happen, it's sometimes too late. You take a player like Heath Bell, who could be traded from San Diego out of his closer role and into a setup role. If you wait until that happens, then you're with a guy who's got a lot less value.
And even worse, if you're in a single lead fantasy league where NL only or AL only, guy gets traded across leagues, oftentimes the league rules say, sorry, he's out, go find somebody new.
Yeah, I mean, luckily in the leagues that I play in that are like that, the guy only has to be on the roster by opening day, so that's becoming more prevalent, thankfully. But yeah, there are still leagues out there where if the guy switches leagues, you're left holding the bag.
So let's talk about some of the guys that are most prominently featured in trade rumors this time of year. Some all-stars here, some guys who are mere role players, but still fantasy relevant, and especially the guys that would be entering into their vacated spots are going to be fantasy relevant if they get traded. Let's start with one of those all-stars, Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, he'll be batting second tonight. He'll be the DH for the National League, but a couple of teams have been rumored to be interested in him, the Boston Red Sox and the San Francisco Giants. So if Beltran moves to Boston and goes to that lineup in a favorable ballpark, it could be good for him. But if he goes out west to San Francisco, a lot tougher ballpark, playing in the National League West, where he'll have to go to places like San Diego and Los Angeles.
Which guys on those teams would be most affected by him?
Well, he plays right field, so if he goes to Boston, he's going to be bumping up against J.D. Drew, who's a perennial injury risk as it is. I don't think they're going to move Big Papi out of DH, and when Carl Crawford comes back, he's going to be in left and Ellsbury in center, so it's going to be J.D. Drew that he replaces. So if you have Drew, you might want to start looking for some reinforcements.
Not that you haven't already been looking for reinforcements, but
that's very true with him. But with San Francisco, a guy who's on fire right now, Nate Schierholtz, plays right field for them. So you figure they're not going to bench World Series playoff hero Cody Ross in left field, and then they have Andres Torres at the top of their lineup in center field. There might be some mixing and matching there if he goes to San Francisco, but Nate Schierholtz, like I said, he's been going in gangbusters. He's been their clutch hitter, but and he's a great defender. But if Beltran goes there, he's in serious trouble.
You mentioned Heath Bell of the Padres earlier. What's his situation?
Well, St. Louis had interest early. Now they've kind of backed off because Fernando Salas has been doing a good job there. But Philadelphia is in play. Brad Lidge is still on a rehab assignment, has been not healthy for most of the season. I have a real hard time believing if Heath Bell goes to either St. Louis or Philadelphia, he's not going to be their closer. But there's also teams out there like New York. The longer Rafael Soriano stays out with an injury, maybe they get nervous and add a Heath Bell because they can.
I mean, and he has been a setup guy before, and he seems to be okay with the idea of being, quote-unquote, a setup guy and doesn't have any hang-ups like Francisco Rodriguez about being the closer.
Yeah, I mean, Heath Bell's a good guy, and that's to his detriment to fantasy owners because he's going to do whatever it takes to win. He's been with the Padres. He came close to a division title last year. He knows he's been in the game long enough to know that a chance with the Yankees means a chance at a ring, so he's going to do whatever it takes. But boy, man, that's a lot of talent to have as a setup guy.
So who are the guys backing up Bell and, since I mentioned him, K-Rod, who would be able to step in and perhaps get those save opportunities if they do get moved?
Well, San Diego's looking at Mike Adams, and he has a solid K-9 rate, a very good ERA and WHIP, but the guy only has 2 career saves, so there's a little bit of inexperience there. We'll see how he does, but, if the guy's in the closer role, you got to take a chance on him. And then in New York, if Francisco Rodriguez gets moved, Bobby Parnell or Jason Isringhausen could be the guys who step in.
Wait. Jason Isringhausen. Is that the same one?
That's the same guy who used to close for the Cardinals.
And the A's.
And once got booed in the World Series parade in St. Louis.
That's true.
But he, there's also rumors that Isringhauser could be on the move. So I think Parnell's really the best guy there because he has a better K rate.
I mean,
too.
if they trade Isringhausen, that's turning straw to gold right there. Let's talk about another guy on your list who, at least to my mind, inexplicably still has a lot of value to some people. That's Edwin Jackson. I really don't understand why teams are going after him, but you know what? If he does get moved, all these moving parts, who benefits?
If Edwin Jackson gets moved out of the White Sox, they've been going with a 6-man rotation, so it goes down to 5. So it benefits guys like John Danks, Phil Humber, and Jake Peavy, particularly Danks, a guy who might have been on the fringe anyway. So if he moves, people are looking at Jackson because his numbers are a little bit better after the All-Star break. He has that weird thing going where he was better in the American League than in the National League, which is rare for pitchers. But yeah, he's a big starter. There's not much out there for starting pitching, so they might be willing to grab him.
Anybody else that you're seeing out there that either surprises you or that would be particularly of interest to fantasy managers? I heard the other day, I think Colby Rasmus, his name was floated because apparently Tony La Russa just hates him with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns.
Yeah, Colby Rasmus and Matt Garza are what I would consider. They are considered light rumors. The ones we talked about earlier are the ones that are probably could happen. But yeah, Garza and Rasmus' name's been tossed out there. Garza to the Red Sox. The Cubs reportedly denied it. If he were to go to the Red Sox, that would hurt a fringe pitcher like Andrew Miller. For Colby Rasmus, he's really struggling in June and July. Maybe a change of scenery would be good for him to get away from the whole La Russa thing. The Rays were mentioned as being interested, and if he were to go to the Rays, that would help Wonderkin Sam Full. That might put an end to his story this year.
Yeah, and then also with the Rays, Desmond Jennings has been a super hot prospect for them for what seems like forever, but they do seem a little bit reticent to call him up.
Well, and he's hurt too, so yeah, if they plug in Rasmus, that would definitely hurt Jennings.
All right. Thanks for joining us, George.
All right, thank you.